5 World News.
For more on this breaking story, let's bring in ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be hosting This Week later this morning. George, good morning. So this is the first major natural disaster on President Trump's watch. How serious a political test is this for him?
I'm not sure it's too much of a political test, but he's following the textbook right now for what presidents are supposed to do in a situation like this. He's getting his briefings from FEMA. He's authorized the FEMA director to do whatever it takes to address the problem down there. There are going to be some big questions going forward. The White House has suggested the president is going to visit there this week. Is that really the best idea, or will that divert attention away from the rescue and recovery efforts? That's one of the questions they're going to have to deal with. And down the line, there might be a request for some real major federal funding for Texas and maybe Louisiana. After this, that could become a political problem down the road.
All right, well, speaking of diversion, as Harvey was making landfall on Friday night, we know the White House unveiled that series of controversial decisions, including the presidential pardon for Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Paul Ryan has already come out against it. Is that a political problem for the president?
It is going to end up being a significant issue right now. The president's first pardon, he chose to pardon a man who had defied a federal judge's order to stop illegally profiling Latinos in this country. Not only the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, Republican, but also the two Republican senators from Arizona have stood up against the president as well. And one of the big concerns here is, and you've seen this raised by some Democrats, not Republicans yet, is that perhaps what the president was doing here was sending a message to those who might get caught up in the Robert Mueller investigation. Don't worry, I have your back. And that's a big question that a lot of people are raising right now. But, you know, Sheriff Arpaio, an incredibly controversial figure across the country, faced widespread criticism for the way he was dealing with prisoners in the state of Arizona. Yet the president called him a patriot who kept Arizona safe. That issue's not going away.
And there was this article in the Washington Post overnight that says the president actually, while Arpaio was facing criminal charges by the president's own Justice Department, the president went to the Attorney General and asked whether these charges could be dropped.
Backed off, knowing he could do the pardon, which is a full pardon power under the Constitution. But this really is unprecedented. Usually presidents wait until late in their term to do pardons. This is only 7.
And after sentencing.
And after sentencing, after a sign of remorse, after going through the Department of Justice procedures. None of that happened right here. Controversial move by the president. It's raised, you know, the question a lot of people have is, does he understand the line between the president and the Justice Department and the tradition against getting involved or politicizing individual cases? In this case, he did it.
George Stephanopoulos, thank you. And a reminder, George has a big show this morning. He's going to be covering the Arpaio decision as well as the breaking news out of Texas. He'll go one-on-one with Texas Governor Greg Abbott and White House Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert. That's later this morning on This Week, right here on ABC.